Hi people, it's Archivist here with a classic review for Star Wars Battlefront 2. As you can clearly tell by the visuals, Battlefront 2 is a very old game by this point. However, although the graphics certainly look dated, the gameplay holds up surprisingly well. But to begin with, let's take a quick look at the story. Battlefront 2's campaign focuses on the 501st Legion, an elite group of clone troopers tasked with completing the most dangerous objectives on hostile worlds. One of the first missions involves capturing a generator that will power the Death Star laser. While the clones are fully aware of its true purpose, the Jedi are kept in the dark. The theme of deception prevails throughout the entire campaign, and you often hear of the internal conflict that the clones are enduring. At the end of one mission, a clone speaks of how he wasn't able to look a Jedi in the eye, knowing all too well what would come next. It's an interesting perspective from which to observe the events of the films, but make no mistake, the story plays a very small role in Battlefront 2's overall experience. By far, Battlefront 2's greatest asset is the gameplay. Interestingly, many of the mechanics and conventions are very similar to modern games of the same genre. For instance, there's Conquest Mode, which involves taking and holding strategic points around the map, an objective modern gamers will be very familiar with. There are also multiple classes for each faction that allow for different styles of play. For instance, there's the typical frontline clone trooper class, but there's also the rocket launcher class for dealing with enemy vehicles. Speaking of vehicles, many of the Star Wars classics are here, my favourite being the massive Imperial AT-AT Walker. Also, the shooting itself is very easy to pick up. Aside from the accuracy of standard rifles, everything was exactly as I expected, and it's nice to be able to play in either first person or third person mode. If you do well enough during a match, you are given the option to play as a special character like Darth Vader or Obi-Wan Kenobi. These characters often have special abilities such as Force Choke and Force Push. Although they are far more powerful than standard units, their health degrades over time. To regenerate your health, you have to keep killing enemies. It's an interesting way of encouraging players to stay in the thick of battle. There's even a mode where all the characters in the match are either Sith, Jedi or simply notable figures. Unfortunately, there isn't a great deal of finesse when it comes to lightsaber clashes, meaning that Sith versus Jedi battles often become a fun but simplistic spam fest. There's also the space battles, which involves two enemy flagships facing off against each other. You are given the option to choose different classes of ship depending on whether you deem it better to use a fighter or a bomber. One of my favourite things to do is to board the enemy ship and then sabotage it from within. It's a great deal of fun and could honestly have been a game in and of itself. By its very nature, Battlefront 2 has a great deal of replay value. In fact, I would say the game is perfect for relatively short play sessions thanks to instant action, making it a very appealing option for gaming laptop users. If you're looking forward to the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront later this year, Battlefront 2 is an excellent way of getting you back into the series. If you enjoyed this classic review, please do subscribe to the channel. And as always people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.